Before we start the video, I'd just like to say that we started a Make Me a Coffee site. People who want to tip us and want to buy us a slice of pizza, we don't mind.
You give me pizza.
Yep. You can go choose 1 slice, 3 slice, 5 slice, whatever slice, and so you can say something nice to us.
Or just say a whole bunch of insults. We don't mind.
And if you don't want to buy us a pizza, that's fine. I can let Delta starve.
No!
Now on to the video. Linus Gamer Alpha here, and we're going to do a little review on Linus Tech Tips thing. As you know, he made another, Steam Linux video. If you haven't, a lot of people, we're going to do like a little review kind of thing, or roast, whatever the hell you call it. A lot of people do on YouTube do it too. But this ain't the first time he's done that. He actually did a daily driver challenge, and it was good. I didn't. Linus really pissed me off on a lot of things, but not by this. I don't mind videos like this where he goes over and does a daily challenge. I know he's biased on Linux because he's a Windows user, but I always like videos that are biased. The only video that really pissed me off is this stupid one with lower your heating bill with gaming. And when he decided to use this stupid little thing, a freaking a heater that he found at the junkyard that had all mud and stuff. Are you kidding me? And every time I watch it, it just pisses me off. Seriously, you use that? Why would you use that? Why couldn't you use a heating core from a freaking car? It's the same thing. It's water. It runs off water. But I'm not going to go over and do this. We're going to go and watch Linus right here. Let's go to full screen here. All right, let's go see what he talked about Linux.
There's so many rumors swirling around Valve lately. A new Steam controller in mass production, Steam Link on Raspberry Pi 5, new branding guidelines suggesting powered by SteamOS consoles. Is that for handhelds like this one from Lenovo? Or is it for the return of Steam Machine game consoles? Either way,
I'm going to answer you right now, it's only for handhelds right now. Because right now, they're only focusing on handhelds. Yet, he kind of forgets that that's what Valve is only working on right now. Because handheld is the big thing. He also forgets that, it is mostly only made for a handheld. And yet, he's putting, I'll explain it.
Way, it really looks like Valve is ramping up to make a serious challenge to Microsoft's desktop dominance. And I sure hope they do. Some of you probably remember that Valve's SteamOS started as a response to the threat of Microsoft creating a walled garden with Windows 8. A threat that not only hasn't gone away, but might be even greater than ever with the consolidation of the Xbox and Windows stores. There's only one small problem. As good as SteamOS is, delivering a console-like gaming experience for thousands of PC games, even ones that were only ever intended to run on Windows, Valve still hasn't made a version that's designed for me to put on my custom PC. Or have they? As it turns out...
Now I'm going to tell you, they haven't. There are other versions of Steam Deck. Let's see. Like the Navara version of the Steam Deck, which is right here, which I will get to in a moment. But yes, you can. There are desktop versions of the Steam Deck, but it's customized. Like Navara one right here is through Fedora, which if you want a Fedora version of it, I would recommend that too. But we'll get to that in a second.
Valve has been working away in the background, preparing SteamOS for its promised official wide release. So I think now is as good a time as any to see what the experience is like if you download SteamOS and throw it on your PC.
Yeah, I'm going to call Yes, you go over and throw it on your PC. It's possible, but it's not meant to. It's supposed to be handheld. I'm going to repeat this a lot now. He seems to forget about this.
But in spite of what your friendly neighborhood neckbeard may claim, most Linux distros still involve a lot of manual faffing about to get things working. And if Linux gaming is tricky for me, your little cousin Joey Mainstream is going to be screwed.
Well, Joey seems to be a little too young to be doing this on his own. I mean, he could do it, but, should he even? I don't even think he should be on the internet. Come on, kid. What the hell?
That is why we need SteamOS. Projects like HoloISO, Chimera, Bazite, and the other one that you're furiously typing in the comments right now are
Seriously, Justin Bieber? Please don't make me do a review about Justin Bieber. Please don't put in the comments and make me do Justin Bieber. I don't want to do Justin Bieber.
glimpses at a beautiful penguin-powered future that could be, but the fact of the matter is that barring some kind of earth-shaking change, when regular people make the great penguin migration, it's going to be on a steam-powered train.
The thing is about that is, in order, if it's going to be only SteamOS to get people to use Linux, I'm for it. If it's going to be that it's going to be on Walmart being sold next to a Windows computer, I'm all for it. It doesn't matter as long as people get hooked on it. You gotta go, but a lot of people would think you need to go put Ubuntu and stuff like that. Well, not really. If SteamOS is supposed to be to take you over to get you hooked onto Linux and try it out, at least put the foot through the door, then yes, I'm for it. I don't care if that's the one thing. Do remember, all other Linux distros is not for everyone. I would not recommend Arch to be your first distro, ever. I probably wouldn't even recommend Ubuntu to be your first distro. Um, Debian, I would. And maybe Fedora, but I would never recommend Arch for your first first distro ever. Even though this is based on Arch, but I will get to that in a second.
Let's see what the setup process is like. Now, I'm no Joey, I at least know what a computer is, but I want to play my games, and my favorite games include Anno 1800 and Tape to Tape, not Grub Boot Entry Simulator. I want it to be actually
What's wrong with Grub Boot Simulator? That's a good game!
easy. As we're filming this, there are two ways for a non-developer to get SteamOS 3. Option 1, buy a Steam Deck. Easy.
Let's go back to that a little bit. Hold on. Can I get to that?
Non-developer to get SteamOS 3. Option 1.
Alright. So, yeah, these are the three Steam Decks right here, from 256 to 1 terabyte. And the 1 terabyte is like, that's the price. See, these are the problem is the price. This is a good price here, but this has a bad memory right there. So, I don't know. I really would think the price would be the problem right there with the getting the Steam Deck. But what do I know? I'm just a cheap bastard.
1, buy a Steam Deck. Easy. But you're stuck with the Steam Deck. Option
And what's wrong with that?
2, download the Steam Deck recovery image, flash that to a USB key, and install it on compatible hardware. Valve is committed to making a proper installer before the full release, but that's the way you do it now.
That's because it's not meant for a desktop, it's meant for a handheld.
Less easy. And it doesn't help that at the time of filming, Googling install SteamOS actually leads you to the build your own Steam machine page for the
Yeah, they should really fix that. Yes, the Debian the Debian base is still on their side, which makes no sense. It's dead. It hasn't been updated for years, but you can still download it. I would really wish they would take this off and just put the Debian version on like just archive it. Just archive the Debian version, like they do with every dead distros. They archive it and let someone work on it and stuff like that. But instead, they kind of still advertise this.
The old Debian-based SteamOS 2 from like a decade ago. That's kind of rough for Joey, though to Valve's credit, at least it links to the page for the Steam Deck recovery.
Yeah, this right here should be over here, and this should be gone away. Why NVIDIA? I mean, not NVIDIA. What the hell am I saying? Why Steam? Why would you do this? This is dead. Just get rid of it.
Image, so I think we can figure it out. We used Rufus to image it to a USB drive, booted the live image, picked this option to re-image our Steam Deck, then we basked in this glorious wall of fast-scrolling text, and that's it. We've installed SteamOS on our hardware for a total cost of $0. Take that, Microsoft, and thanks, Gaben. But does it work? Well, the thing is, we won't know until we reboot, because everything that you've seen so far can be done even on unsupported hardware. What do you mean, unsupported, Linus? Linux supports, like, everything, doesn't it? Well, yes.
Almost anything, but kinda. But not, Solus OS.
But also no. Linux is an umbrella term that we use to describe many distinct computing experiences, and it's up to the maintainer of the Linux distribution to decide what it does and doesn't do out of the box. And as you'd imagine, the Steam Deck recovery image is developed for, well, the Steam Deck first and foremost.
Oh, duh!
Which results in some key hardware requirements. The big two being a discrete AMD GPU and an NVMe boot drive to install to. Also, this is fun, during the setup process, there is not any kind of prompt for which drive or which partition you'd like to install to. It
because it's meant for a handheld.
just assumes that you want to totally overwrite the drive of your Steam Deck, so consider yourself warned. While I'm throwing out warnings,
Supposedly, you can bypass that, but it's a pain in the ass or something like that. But here's another thing. It's a handheld. You're supposed to wipe out everything that's on the handheld. That's what it's designed for.
there's also limited firmware included. Support for Marvell network cards, for example, is mostly missing, and there are some special requirements around sleep modes. The TLDR, though, is basically use the hardware that you can find that is most similar to a Steam Deck if you want to try this for yourself right now. For our test system then, we went with an AMD Ryzen 5 5600G on an Asus Prime B550MA motherboard with 16 gigs of DDR4 memory from G.Skill. That's a big Steam Deck. Now, we did notice—
That's because it's a desktop, and you're trying to do it as a handheld.
some mentions of NVIDIA in recent SteamOS patch notes, so we did try installing with an RTX 3060 GPU, but while we were able to boot the USB drive and we were able to clone the image to the NVMe drive, we were not able to continue with the setup process and instead got this garbled screen.
Yes, because it's not designed for NVIDIA. I don't care what kind of backward things you're trying to do. You shouldn't do that in the first place. It's probably some error codes or something like that, but you won't be able to see it because the driver is not compatible with it.
Our mission today does not include troubleshooting drivers or the Linux boot process. I don't care if you think it's easy, Joey doesn't. So we listened to Valve and switched back to a Radeon RX 7600, where we had a much better time getting through the actually refreshingly simple setup. Pick a language, pick a time zone, pick a network, and let it do its thing. Now, I don't know why I get a battery low warning on a
I can tell you why. You have no battery. Because it's a desktop. It's literally a desktop with no battery on there. It's sending an error message saying you can't find the battery, and it's coming up as low battery because there's no battery.
desktop, but in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty small issue, and a few minutes later, we can sign in, either with our username and password or via the Steam mobile app. After a quick scroll and click, we're off to the races in game mode. Now, you've probably all seen the Steam Deck interface at this point. Cosmetically, it's basically desktop big picture, but Valve tries to squeeze out a little bit of extra horsepower by running it on the lighter weight GameScope microcompositor instead of in the full desktop environment that we'll look at in just a moment. The UI is okay with a keyboard and mouse, but it's really designed to be navigated with a controller from the moment you boot to the moment you finish your last one more round and then head to bed.
Yeah, that's because that's what it's designed for. Actually, the big stream mode is actually designed for the controller itself. It's new, but it is doable with a keyboard and mouse. But this one actually has added features that is not on the big picture mode because that is not a handheld.
Let's give it a shot. Oh, you got one of my favorite games on here. Let's go. No way. Is this the new Hori Steam controller?
Yep.
Definitely a controller. Ooh, these not even analog triggers? Oh, what a terrible shot.
Right to him.
I know, it sucked. Boom, take that. Boom, take that. Oh no. I think the most remarkable thing about this gaming experience is that there's absolutely nothing remarkable about it. This is exactly what it's like to play this game on Windows. Complete.
Yes, that's because you're technically running on compatible Windows to make it run on Linux. It's basically running on Wine and stuff like that, but it's using Proton. This is what's the point of it.
Chaos. Okay, we got 10 seconds. One last rush. Here we go. Oh, I
Barely even gets a shot away.
You know what? You call it barely, I call it a shot. Where's your shot? That's what I thought. Oh, this controller feels really cheap. Can I switch over to a different one?
Okay, I don't own the Steam controller, but I have heard of the issues that they are built cheap. And I'm not planning on buying one because I'm a cheap bastard. I'd rather go buy a crappy one from Walmart. But yeah, there's some mixed reviews about it. But you don't really need it. You can use any Xbox controller,
I can find something, yeah.
It's probably the controller, Jordan. It's got to be it's a controller issue. Is the dongle in there?
You have a cable right in front of you could probably use.
I mean, that's an option, I guess. Oh, it's an Xbox controller. I mean, sure, yeah, that should work. Okay, here we go. Theoretically, this should just flawlessly work because, you know, SteamOS, let's go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yep.
All good. Here we go. Just shoot! Thank you, finally! It's such a seamless experience. It's kind of mind-blowing to me. Like, I know SteamOS has been out for years now at this point, but the fact that this just works so flawlessly, so effortlessly is mind-blowing to me. Okay, breakout pass, here we go.
Basically, he's just going to play these games and stuff like that. He also does, like, this game right here where I never even heard of and stuff like that.
What in the Sam heck is going on here? Get out of here, you lousy bats. Man, I forgot how hard it is when you don't have all the upgrades and stuff and all the better characters and everything.
See if there's any.
Sorry, wrong controller.
Oh.
Hit Xbox.
Oh, okay, I'm good.
And I'm loving this. What about all the just like special like Steam Decky stuff, like hardware monitor and stuff like that? Like, can we do any of that?
Yep.
What button is that?
The buttons on that controller, actually.
The buttons on
The
that?
3 dot. Oh, sorry, wrong controller.
Oh.
Hit Xbox A.
No. I'm going back to the Steam controller. Okay. So I got my 3 dots here.
It's all there.
Okay, that's.
I kind of like this interface right here. It means like if you go aside, you got the overlay right here. You can also change the frame rate stuff. That actually looks a lot simpler stuff.
Kind of cool.
If you don't have a Steam controller,
Yeah.
Xbox button and A will bring that up.
Okay. It's Xbox button and A.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, cool. Well, let's disable the frame limit. What do we have any of that for? Performance overlay level. Oh, cool. So that's just that like 60 FPS counter that we've
Yeah,
got.
the normal counter thing you would get in Steam Deck.
And, oh, we can enable HDR. I wonder if it's gonna work though. We can try it in Doom Eternal. Let's try it in Doom Eternal. Why does it not look that HDR-y?
It's just.
Oh, because the game's not in HDR.
Wah wah.
Okay, all right. Well, that'll help. Cool. Let's go with Ultra and no ray tracing.
That's probably a better bet.
Valve has done some work on getting HDR to work in Linux with the Steam Deck OLED. What I don't know is how well it's gonna work on a TV. This TV also, not the brightest HDR TV, so maybe not our best case scenario for testing. In fact,
Actually, I kind of think it is the TV. There's been a lot of improvements with HDR, but technically you should be playing on a monitor no matter what. I mean, if you want to put it on the TV screen, but the thing is with TVs and monitors, it's the refresh rates. It's not very good. So, yeah, you also have somewhat of a lag between your computer and the TV as well. It's only wasn't really meant for PC gaming at all. It's only mostly meant for like watching television and consoles.
honestly, it looks not great. I do wonder how much of it is the TV though. But everything thinks it's HDR. Maybe this is one area where there's a little bit of room for improvement here.
Nope.
Hey, the game's running great though.
Nope, it's a TV.
Getting 163 FPS. And HDR is something where the Xbox and the PlayStation are gonna give you a just works experience. Then again, like I said before, I don't know how much of the problem is just the fact that this TV is not very good. Ugh, I don't know how to play this game with a controller, really.
You could always keyboard and mouse it.
Oh, right! What am I even doing right now? Oh, let's go!
All of a sudden you got good.
Right? It's almost like there is a superior control scheme.
That's a matter of opinion. There's some people who prefer controllers over keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse. Me, I would prefer controller all the time. But it's how I was raised as consoles, you know. I only had like consoles and stuff like that. I never really had a gaming PC for years because, well, probably showing my age now. Back then, no one could afford a gaming PC. Nowadays, people can just build one on their own.
Nah, couldn't be.
Bet. Oh, I'm wet. Where'd you go?
Wow.
Oh, no. There we go. The bottom line is that for living room gaming, most of what I would need is here. The 8BitDo controller we tried worked out of the box with its dongle, or failing that, any modern wired or Bluetooth controller should pick up without too much trouble. And I didn't have any issues with networking or sound, though your mileage may vary there a little bit, like I mentioned before. I would say that one glaring problem is that games launch at the Steam Deck's native 1280 by 800 resolution, but this can be fixed by manually setting the system resolution in the settings, and then games should pick that up.
I wonder if my computer has that. I wonder if it does that on all PCs. Hold on a second. I'll open up my Steam. Actually, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna. Okay, I guess not. I mean, it has everything else but whatever settings this has right here. But I guess this must be a different control scheme or something like that.
Manually setting the system resolution in the settings, and then games should pick that up. Between Proton and native Linux versions of games, there's a huge library now. Like, man, compared to the last time we did a gaming on Linux video, there's an enormous library of games that just work now. And while there have been some regressions, notably for online competitive titles,
Yeah, because they still think that Linux users still cheating when it's actually Windows users. But go ahead, destroy your systems with kernel level anti-cheat. This needs to be banned. Really does.
where the developers don't want to maintain their anti-cheat on Linux, game compatibility has mostly been growing steadily. I think with the right hardware, I'm pretty much ready to say that building a SteamOS game console for your living room is pretty awesome. However, I can totally see why Valve has held off on saying the same. Most gamers demand more than just, my Steam game works. and there are some essential tools that can't simply be added from inside game mode, like Discord and alternate game stores like GOG and Battle.net. And, hey, this is a PC, right? What if I need to get some actual work done? How is desktop mode coming along? I guess now's a great time to continue using the mouse and keyboard that I've got right here. Power and switch to desktop. That was quick. It looks like pretty much.
Yeah, looks pretty good. This is a KDE, but I don't know. My opinion is, if you're gonna use a desktop mode, I would go with XFCE or something lighter. I don't see KDE being that light, even though they probably did cut out some of this out, and it's running a little bit older version of KDE. I mean, it's up to date. It still works, but it's not running. I think it was KDE 5, and this is KDE 3 or 4. I don't remember, but it's a different kind of KDE.
Any other Linux desktop. Although it isn't quite. SteamOS 3 is what's known as an immutable operating system. If you already know what that means and you have strong feelings about it, SteamOS is probably not meant for you.
It's not, kinda, but okay.
If you don't know what that means, the oversimplified TLDR is, it means you can't screw it up too badly, because it locks down critical system components and it will reset itself when you reboot. That doesn't mean you can't install software.
Very fake news. No, you can still break it by screwing it up. Any kind of system you do, you can break it easily. It doesn't do that. You really need to know, Linus. No, you're wrong.
Software. It just means that you're effectively limited to what's available in their Flatpak-based Discover Software Center. These Flatpaks might not be as efficient as if you installed VA Package Manager.
I mean, technically you could run some of these Flatpaks through the terminal, and I believe it has a terminal on there, but okay. Most of the time you can just put it on there. But I don't know how you could type it in. It could be, but I heard you can also put a keyboard on the Steam Deck and type in some of these things. Then again, you could just copy and paste, and copy and paste should be easy to do, especially with a touchscreen.
But what it shows is that Valve learned very well from their community's love of, hey, how do I fix X in Counter-Strike? Press F10. Trolling that has
I don't know what that means, but okay.
taken place over the years. They've made SteamOS pretty hard to bung up too badly, because think about it. Realistically, poor Joey would almost certainly fall for the old RMRF asterisk trick at least once. Now, to be
Don't ever do that. Ever.
clear, there are ways outside of their all applications list here to install software. We even found this script on GitHub that allows us to install dozens of non-Steam stores. But for the Joeys out there, here's a standard disclaimer about running scripts that you find on the internet all willy-nilly. I'd recommend that you stick to the Software Center. The question is, if you do that, can you get it?
Yeah, you should really just stick with the Software Center. Unless, of course, you know how to troubleshoot.
Any real work done here? Let's see. Our browsers, oh, internet, there. Okay, web browsers. LibreWolf, Vivaldi, Brave, just the Chromium web browser. Man, there's a ton of options here.
Yeah, some of them I don't even use. Actually, a lot of them I don't even use. But yeah, you can put practically any of these web browsers. I mean, technically you should do Brave on your Steam Deck because you have the ad blocker and stuff. That would be more safer. But yeah.
This is great. And if you consider how much of it you do in a web browser these days, there's a good chance that we can get a lot of what we need to do done. What about Discord, though? We mentioned Discord earlier. Discord, hey, there it is. 4 stars.
I would recommend Discord. I would recommend doing Goofcord. It will do the same thing, really.
Boom, install. What else we got here? Oh, dude!
Oh no, we've lost them forever.
Space Cadet Pinball's in here. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, let's go.
Yeah, let's just skip that. Yeah, you can play Space Connect thing, but that's a Windows thing. Let's see if we...
You can also do that with other apps, like non-Steam games and browsers. A browser can really come in handy over time in game mode. Now, of course, it is worth noting that since you're not concerned about conserving battery life and squeezing every last drop of performance out of mobile hardware, you don't actually need to go back to game mode at all. Steam works just fine here on the desktop. And as much as I love touchpads and joysticks, sometimes a keyboard and mouse is just plain a better way to use a computer.
Yes, but this is not designed for a desktop. It's designed for a handheld.
With standard peripherals, I can happily use my browser and apps just like I would on Windows, macOS, or any other Linux. The /home folder is persistent, so you don't have to worry about losing your files when you reboot. It just resets the system files so that...
Wrong. If you screw something else on the system files, it screws up any of the files. You can actually brick the system if you need to. Not the not the motherboard. I meant the OS itself. But you can always do a fresh install if you brick it. You can still screw it up, but then again, you can also screw it up Windows too.
turn it off and turn it back on really does work to fix most things. And other than that, it pretty much just works like I would expect a computer to work. Pretty much. We did run into a funny scenario a little while ago. We were trying to get an old printer working with generic drivers, and I had a brainstorm that went, oh man, Linux! I bet Linux will work. Well, I'll just grab a Steam Deck. That already has Linux on it, and yeah. That's when I learned that SteamOS does not include support for printers out of the box, and you might come across...
You know what? Why, this Nintendo Switch. I don't own a Nintendo Switch. You want to know why? Well, I mean, it has fun games, and you have a good control grip, But the problem what's the one thing I don't like about it? Is it doesn't have printer support. Man, you know how stupid that sounds? It's a handheld device. It's designed for a handheld device, and it doesn't have printer support because it's not designed to print. They don't have it out of the box. You can install cups onto it. I believe that's a flat pack version too. And you also can install the HP drivers too, because that's what it's designed, because HP is separate for cups for some stupid reason. But just going over and saying, oh look, I can't run my printer. I got a Steam Deck. I can run my printer. What the hell?
similar gotchas over time. Let's see if they've added it. No, they have not.
You're not even looking at the right spot, I think. I think you have to go into settings, and that's where the because you're in quick setting, you have to go into regular setting. I think that's where it is, but I haven't done KD for a while.
Neat. So SteamOS. It's pretty great right now, but it's clear that there's a bit of work to be done. So what about those rumors we were talking about? Could new Steam machines be announced and released at any time? Absolutely. And I think we're due. Valve has spent years getting SteamOS to the point where it's at. They've made some hard decisions along the way, but overall, it works great on the right hardware, and it keeps getting better. And
Yeah, he's just going to mention about that, but yes, basically, Steam Deck is getting better. Linux is getting much better on gaming and stuff like that, and we could dominate the market if we could sell these into regular stores. And I think it's become a lot of user friendly. But in order to do that, come on, I'll just shut up. But in order to do that, we have to go over and get the market up or something like that. We have to go over and the thing is, we got to spread the word out mostly. But yes, that's all I have right now. I found it was interesting to watch. Uh, People, please, if you're gonna go over and you want to do Steam Deck on your PC, just go to the bar or something like that. It has NVIDIA support right here. You don't need to go to go do that and go do that. Just don't do what he just did. It's keep Solus OS as handheld and just go to like the bar. Or I think there's another one I can't even remember right now, and try it out yourself. It's not. Apparently, it's pretty good. So I'm the Linus Gamer Alpha, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.